When I was growing up, I didn't watch a lot of movies that had real people in them because to me, the stories that and the acting were not very believable. But out of all of those, there was one that I actually really did like to watch a lot, and I would watch it over and over again, and that was Fly Away Home. I liked it for the story, and I actually liked the little bitty emotional roller coaster that it takes you on. And I've recently started liking it more because I found out what the original purpose for the movie was. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes and picture this for me. Can you do that? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. You're in the car and it's nighttime and it's raining. Lights of the city are blurred circles, and you're looking back and forth from the driver's seat to the passenger seat, watching a happy conversation with Amy and her mom. But you can't hear that conversation because of the piano music that sounds like it could be the raindrops. Then you see an 18-wheeler's headlights coming at you. You see Amy's mom start turning the steering wheel to try and avoid it, and then it's back to looking at the windshield. You see the landscape rolling, and when it stops, so do the wipers, and the windows are cracked to bits. What you just pictured? That's actually the car crash you see that kills Amy's mom and brings her back to living with her dad. That's how Fly Away Home starts out. Amy hasn't lived with her dad in many, many years, and she doesn't remember anything from when she did. The first day that she's there, she wakes up to her dad attempting to fly a homemade aircraft past her window. After a few more mornings, she wakes up and there's people bulldozing the marshlands in her backyard. And in an attempt to avoid having to start school, she goes exploring the marshlands, and while she's sitting out on a log, she hears these chirping sounds. So she looks underneath her and she finds these chirping baby bird eggs. So what she does is she takes them back to the barn and she incubates them in a dresser full of her mom's old clothes. When the baby birds hatch, they imprint on her. And what that means is that since Amy was the first thing that they saw, they automatically assume that she's her mom. She has no problem taking on the role of Mama Goose. It doesn't bother her one bit. One of the problems, though, that comes with raising baby birds' eggs is that she has to get visits from the game warden. And he tries to clip their wings, and he tries to do this a lot throughout the movie, and it poses a couple of problems. But not only that kind of problem, they also have the problem of actually raising the geese, and they finally have to confront the thought of what happens whenever these birds are ready to migrate. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Amy's dad is an avid lover of flying, and he's trying to build an ultralight aircraft that actually works. So he gets this idea that he should fly him south, teach him how to fly south. So they start trying to get the geese to follow the dad, which doesn't work. Every time Amy's around, they go straight to Amy. So Amy thinks, well, what would happen if I try to teach him? So she gets in her dad's aircraft and she crashes the thing. Scares her dad and everybody half to death. But it does put that idea in the dad's head that she should be the one to fly him south. So what he does is that he sells his most valuable sculpture that he's ever made, and he buys Amy her own aircraft, which looks like a huge goose. And from then on, the movie's all about teaching Amy how to fly, getting the geese to follow, and getting ready for that trip south. I can't spoil the rest of what happens on that trip, but it is a funny little adventure and you need to watch it. So, do you remember that vivid scene I made you picture in your head? The music I was discussing is the piano intro for the song called 10,000 Miles, which is sung by Mary Chapin Carpenter. And they have strategically placed this in the movie to help you get a lot of feels out of the movie. The rest of the music helps you emphasize those emotions that the director wants the audience to feel. And they do this so well that you almost don't even realize that there is any music. But it's those emotions that come out that make you want to watch it more. It's the shock of losing her mom, the compassion and the motherly care she puts into raising those geese, and everything else that happens that help you sympathize and feel what she is feeling. And I think the reason they have most of those powerful emotions is to help out with the original purpose for the movie. According to the extras on the DVD, the process of trying to bring back migratory birds is the reason why they made Fly Away Home. The Canadian goose isn't exactly what you would call endangered, but they are a great test subject to try this out on. The eventual goal is to get the endangered whooping cranes back to a suitable number of birds, because at one point they were down to only 15 on the entire Earth. So once the population is reestablished, they're going to try to teach them the migratory routes that they used to have from the northwesternmost tip of Canada to the Gulf of Mexico, Texas coastline. For something like that to happen, the process has to really be a success, and it is for a few years before they actually start making Fly Away Home. And the movie actually helps you give an insight to the process of getting them to imprint and teaching them that migratory route, teaching them to fly, everything that happens. But it's not just that process that makes you want to watch it. It's that sharing of Amy's emotions, which make you feel like you did something good for the community, like you helped raise those geese, like you made that journey, and like you're a part of that family that Amy herself is now a part of.